This episode includes discussions of potentially triggering topics such as abuse, trauma, addiction, and other sensitive subjects. These topics may be difficult for some listeners. Please listen with care and prioritize your well-being as needed. Hello and welcome to Rabbit Hole Reflections. I'm so glad you found us. Here at RHR, we explore transformative journeys through life's deepest challenges. I'm your host, Lisa Van Slyke. Each week, I'll guide you through powerful conversations with guests that illuminate paths from chaos to calm. Join us as we discover how our most difficult moments can become the foundation for profound growth. Through these raw, honest discussions, we'll uncover the wisdom and resilience that emerges when we face our darkest moments. Hi, everyone. Thank you for joining us here at Rabbit Hole Reflections. I am your curator, Lisa Vance. Today, we are joined by Sophia. She's coming to us all the way from Australia. Hi, Sophia. Thank you for being here.
Thank you. It's such an honor. I'm really excited.
Sophia was born with a genetic disorder and she's had to undergo about 30 operations. She's also faced many other challenges during her life, from chronic pain, extreme bullying, sexual and emotional abuse, and mental health issues that led to suicide attempts. She has been on a healing journey and she is determined to help empower others. Again, Sophia, thank you so much for being here. Why don't you just go ahead and tell us about your rabbit hole journey?
Oh, my rabbit hole. How long have we got? How many rabbit holes can we go down? It's been incredible. I'm really grateful. Grateful for this body, grateful for all the challenges that I've had, which I'll go into, because if it wasn't for those challenges, if it wasn't for this body, I wouldn't be the person I am now. And I wouldn't be here with you, with your beautiful self. So basically, I was born with a genetic condition called trichorhinophalangeal syndrome, type 2. There are 3 types. I've got type 2, which basically means hair, nose, and fingers phalangeals. Apparently, I've got funny-looking fingers. I got very thin hair, which is why I wear a turban. And I can't blow my nose. I can't breathe through my nose. Type 2 also has bone issues. Growing up, I had lumps of cartilage on my joints. Where I grew up was a small country town, and they didn't know what was wrong, except I was in a lot of pain. So there's a lump there. We'll go in, we'll have surgery, we'll cut it out, right? And again, being 8, I wasn't aware of all the other stuff that was possible. So they took it out and then it would grow back again. So they take it out and it would grow back again. That happened all over my body. I've had operations on my arms, shoulders, chest, hips, knees, legs, everywhere, my ankles. That was the physical part, the journey of chronic pain. I'm also flat-footed, which I didn't know until I was in my teens. So I couldn't run. Chronic pain led to chronic use of pharmaceutical drugs. You've got all the operations where you get pumped full of anesthetics and antibiotics and everything else. And then because I was in chronic pain, look, take this drug, take this drug, take this drug. And again, I had no idea. So you just listen to these so-called experts.
Right.
Without realizing that taking all these drugs was actually making it worse, because my body was becoming very toxic, which contributed to the pain. So that journey continued until I stopped growing. When I stopped growing, the operations slowed right down. But then my body went the other way and it started to break down very quickly. So I developed arthritis everywhere. Also, more pain. And just going on with the pain, seeing the body thing, it wasn't till I fell downstairs.
Oh, my.
Completely wrecked my knees on 2 different occasions. The orthopedic surgeon said there's nothing hip you can do but have 2 knee replacements. I still remember I was sitting in his office and my body yelled at me. It seriously yelled. It said, no more. Didn't say it, it yelled, no more. I went into trauma. It said, no more. No more surgery, no more drugs. There has to be another way. So that started one journey. I remember that rabbit hole starting to come out. of, okay, if there has to be another way, what other way can it be? I did all sorts of alternative treatments. I had massage, I had acupressure, I had Reiki, I had all sorts of stuff, which were all beautiful, which really helped with the pain, but it didn't go to the cause. I went to India for 4 months and totally detoxed and did yoga and all sorts of stuff. It wasn't till I went down a different rabbit hole, went to see a breath worker who happened to be a sound healer. While I was doing my breath work, this person was using his voice, using a bowl, using a drum. And it was like my body woke up. It said, this is what I need. This, the sound and the breath. That time it was really the sound. Sound will heal me. So I went on another journey and I became a sound healing junkie, basically. Ended up traveling with this breath worker for 8 months. We went up and down the East Coast straight. We even went overseas and traveled throughout Asia and the UK.
That sounds wonderful.
It was doing breath work, doing sound healing. And my body healed. I could feel my hip being glued back together. I could feel my knee being sewn up at different times. There was even one time I was laying down doing breath work and just absorbing this sound. And it was like I had 6 hands over my legs, absorbing the pain, just drawing the pain out. And it was great. And I even started to run, gently jog, because I was walking somewhere and my body was going, no, I want to move faster. I want to start running. I never ran or jogged because I wear orthotics, but that just never happened.
It's absolutely miraculous the way it can heal itself.
It can. And sound is, sound has been around for day dot. Sound is our, especially if we use our voice or, our traditional indigenous cultures. They don't go down the road and get a pill. They use their healing methods. They use energy. They use their voice. They use their instruments. And sound heals. Sound is my medicine. Sound, the secrets of sound, it's energy. We're energy. When we tune into the frequency of the sound, it goes into our body and it heals. I have known people that have released cancer through sound healing, right? And so much other stuff. And I still use it today. Plus, I use breath work to release suppressed emotions. Because another thing that happens with our body, if we don't deal with our emotions, they get suppressed in our body, which causes dis-ease and a lot of pain. And it needs to be released. And I use breath work to do that. Taking drugs ain't releasing it. It just cope, right? Just takes it away. Just takes
Doesn't get to the root.
but doesn't release it. So through breath work, I've had some incredible experiences of releasing so many emotions and experiences in breath work. And I released a lot of emotions around sexual assault and resentment. I went back to where I grew up in a small country town and I developed a lump in my groin. I couldn't climb the stairs. I was in so much pain and I thought, what's this lump about? So I met with a breath worker and we did 3 sessions of breath work. And through that, it came out that that was part of the sexual assault. And I was venting, being back where I come from, where it happened. I released it. And now it doesn't affect me. I still get in pain, especially when I overdo it or fall down, which happens. But I don't take drugs. I use my breath work and I use sound to help release the pain. And the emotional thing, the other part of that whole journey is because I was born with a genetic condition, and this was all in high school. When you grow up in a small school, everyone knows you, everyone takes care of you, it's not a problem, right? You make friends, it's all good. And then all of a sudden you go to the next level of schooling where no one knows you, right? And I stick out. I stick out very much, I'm vertically challenged. This body is vertically challenged. If we ever meet in person, like I'm 4 foot something. I used to be 5 foot, but I've shrunk. And I look different. And, when you turn up into a place full of young teenagers that don't get taught how to cope or how to deal with or what to do with anyone or anything that is outside the box. They don't know. So I was bullied extremely. And I know there is so many people out there who are bullied for their look. And my heart goes out to them. I know what it feels like. No, I was called an alien. I was treated as an alien. People wouldn't walk where I walk. I was laughed at. I remember that I was walking down a hill and this kid, young boy, was walking up the other way, and he looked at me and just started laughing. And it was at that moment I made a decision to never have children. Not because the physical pain, it's trauma on the body, but you can't get over it. But it's that emotional stuff that goes deep inside you that affects you until you become an adult and realize it, that you deal with it. At 13 years old, I said, I'm never going to put anyone else through this. I probably wouldn't have been able to have children anyway, but I just wouldn't do it because it's genetic.
Right.
There's my chance that I would pass it on. Just with that, quite a while, I've been having really sore shins. For quite some time, I always thought it was my feet and my orthotics. So I'd get new shoes, I'd get new orthotics, and I'd still have really sore shins, and I would release it with the breath work. But then I went into it even deeper through the breath work. And where does this come from? Because sore shins, one of the causes is resentment. Other stuff.
Really?
We hold resentment, I hold, but you hold resentment in your shins, believe it or not.
Interesting.
I know. And a lot of other stuff, betrayal and anger and all sorts of other stuff. But resentment. And I'm going, okay, what am I resenting? Who am I resenting? Because you've got to be careful. With just a little thought.
Right. Yep.
But it was around the age of 13 when I started high school.
It was the bullying that you were resenting?
And everything else, yes. So I realised that so I'm able to release that, which has been so good, until the next stuff comes up, which is fine. You can work around. But that also whole journey and being bullied and targeted led me down another huge rabbit hole of depression. No self-worth. Absolutely no self-worth, no self-esteem. So I didn't even feel that I was worthy enough to live. So I did try times to take myself out. It wasn't that huge. It wasn't it wasn't serious because it was serious, but it was more like a call for help. I need help here. I'm not coping in this world. But also the other thing that developed was I developed a really bad stutter. Because I had no self-worth, and as humans, we all do it. I do it myself if I'm not careful. We cut each other off. Someone's talking and we automatically cut in. If you do that to someone who has no self-worth, one of the consequences could be that they develop a belief, or I developed a belief. One of the consequences for me is I developed a belief that I wasn't even worthy enough to speak.
Oh.
So I started stuttering really, really badly and had to go and learn how to talk all over again. And that's all through that. So that's been that journey. When I left high school, I didn't continue on because I knew that all the stuff that they were teaching us was a no.
Right.
This does not help you with life. I knew that I wasn't going to go to university, and that's okay. For me, my university was a university of life. So
That's the best university.
Yes, it is. And I also, around that time, I made the decision that I have a choice, Lisa. We all have a choice. I can continue playing the victim and saying, poor me. Why me? Why not my sister? I blame my sister a lot because I have another sister and we are definitely sisters. It's been tested, but she's totally opposite to me. She's very tall. She's very physically fit. She does not have any of the genetic condition that I have. And to me, it's like, if it's genetic, why doesn't she have it? I did all sorts of why me? What did I do? I blamed God, didn't think of God very well. I blame my mother because that's where I got the condition from, all sorts of stuff. But around my mid-teens, late teens, I realized that I have a choice. I could be a victim for the rest of my life, be in pain and let other people treat me the way they were treating and not stand up for myself. Or I could take responsibility for my life because this is my life. It was also around that time that I started to understand karma, reincarnation, and because I've always known that I don't belong on this planet, that I've come from a better place. I've always believed, had this deep knowing that there are other lives. And I came to really understand that I've lived many lives. I felt it through the results of whatever actions that I've done in previous life. I've made the choice to take birth into this body in this line to settle all the bloody stuff that I've done previous. One of these days, we're going to have a good conversation when I leave this life. It's like, no more, don't sign up for things that you're not aware of. But I tend to manifest a lot of challenges too. But anyway, I started on that path. I started to meditate. I started to research, study self-esteem. So when it was like, this is my life. What am I going to do with it? Am I going to spend the rest of my life being a victim? Or am I going to improve myself, improve my life? So I really went in, I learned all about self-esteem. I studied it. I started to teach it. I've run retreats on it, and I developed a 8-step self-esteem program that every single day you do a little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, little bit, or starting off with what do I identify myself with? You know, if we identify ourselves with our bodies and the roles we play, that could all be taken away from us. When I really go in within and identify myself with those innate qualities that we all have, you know, and I know this could be a little bit challenging for your viewers to accept, but every single person on this planet, no matter what they're doing now, but every single person started off as a pure, loving, a pure being, baby of divine love and happiness and joy and wisdom and truth. Everyone. Our journeys take us on different stuff that gets squashed. You know, our innate qualities get covered by all the stuff that goes on in our lives. We forget about it. We squash it down. But I started to connect with that universal love, that divine love within us. And little bit by little bit, I started to appreciate myself for being those qualities, not the things that I did, right? But who am I? I started to learn to appreciate myself because what I realized is I was depending on other people to appreciate me. I would go out of my way. I was a total people pleaser. I would go out of my way to please other people, not because I wanted to help, because I wanted their appreciation.
Yep.
I wanted their approval. And that's not altruistic, that's dependency. So I learned all about that, and I was able to let that dependency go and really appreciate myself. And now I do things for someone, and if they don't say thank you, it doesn't affect me because I'm doing it from my heart. I'm not depending on you to thank me. And I went into one depth. Sorry.
I find it fascinating that you found that as early on as you did. And I think that's something that's missing from a lot of teenagers' lives because their parents don't necessarily have their own coping mechanisms from their own past trauma. So they bring it into the parent or child relationship. And that bullying you talked about, it trickles down from one generation to the next. And the fact that you took it in your own hands, I find that absolutely fascinating.
Yes. Generational trauma, ancestral, healing. We've got so much there. That is a huge rabbit hole when you talk about generational stuff and ancestors and the fact that we are carrying all the trauma from our past relations. But now we have the opportunity to heal it, to clear it, and to stop the vicious circle that it gets passed on. It's been a lifelong journey. It still is. I'm not there yet. That's why I'm still in the body. I still got my bloody shit to go through. I still have my challenges. I still have a lot of growth to go through and to let stuff go, because that's just part of life. And in one way, yes, I want to get rid of all the stuff that's holding me back. But also, if I do that too quickly, then that's it. Once we clear everything, the purpose of life is to experience joy. We are meant to be joyful constantly, really true joy. And the only thing that really is holding us back from experiencing that true joy is all the bloody crap that we've accumulated in this lifetime and other lifetimes, and through parents and grandparents. When we clear that and start experiencing joy, then we don't have to have a body anymore. And off we go. And probably not come back into another body because we've done it all. Yes, we have challenges. And sometimes it's like, what the fuck? Why did I sign up to these challenges? And what was I thinking? And when the hell am I going to get a break? Can't say break too hard, because when you say that too hard, guess what? The universe gives you a break. That happened to me. But be careful of what you think about. Really.
Yes.
Really. I really got to be careful, because I just kept saying, I remember just during COVID, we were starting our global community. And there was so much pressure. Got to do this, that I put myself under. So much pressure. And someone would say something, and I'd just say, funny, how can you just give me a break? Well, not too long later, guess what? The universe goes, okay, you want a break. And I fell over and completely smashed my shoulder. That needed to be reconstructed, but it was during that whole thing, and I was in hospital, and they were doing whatever they had to do. One of the doctors said, did you fall over? Did you hit your head when you fell over? I said, I don't know. I can't remember. I just landed on my shoulder. And he said, oh, we might do a CT scan. I go, fine. Luckily they did, because the CT scan picked up that I had a brain tumor that I completely believe that I manifested because I put myself under so much pressure. It wasn't cancer. It was a benign tumor in your ventricle, growing rather quickly. That was putting pressure on the ventricle. He said, this has to come out, because if it grows too much further, it's going to cover the hole that your brain fluid flows out. Apparently, your ventricle makes a fluid and it flows out through the brain system. He said, you've got it just in time. It's got to come out soon, because if it grows further, it's going to cover that hole. It will keep making the fluid, but it won't be able to go anywhere, and it will put too much pressure on it. You really got to be careful of the thoughts that you're having, because they are manifesting in our bodies. All diseases are started off up here.
Yeah.
All disease. Yeah. But it's not,
Wow. That is quite a story. Thank you for sharing that with us. I find it fascinating that you've run the whole gamut of just about every topic somebody can bring to Rabbit Hole Reflections to talk about, helping others on their journey of healing. One particular interview I have not had yet is the bullying aspect, and how much that can absolutely cause somebody to shut down. You mentioned the stuttering. You literally tied your own tongue because you didn't feel worthy enough to even express yourself to people. And that broke my heart when you told me that story. And it makes me wonder how many people are out there who really aren't standing in their own power, expressing themselves, whether it's creatively or in a career, if that's the choice they have. Maybe they're in a relationship that's not quite where it should be because they don't know how to communicate. What are your thoughts on helping people move through that?
where do we start?
We can unpack this all day long, right?
First of all, it's possible. We have the opportunity, especially in today's world, to be whoever, whatever we want. Right? Anything is possible, but we have to make that decision. That is the big thing. We really have to take that responsibility for ourselves and make that decision that I want to change. I don't want to be this way and I want to change. That's the first thing. And I really believe, Lisa, when we make that decision, the universe opens doors. The people, the opportunities, the situations just come to us. It's like you get to a place where you let go of all your resistance. You let go of that stuff and you let go of control of your life, which we all do. I used to be very controlling of my life and we kind of close ourselves off.
Yes.
But when we get to a stage where I can't do this anymore, I need to change, I want to change, then it's like we just let go and your body kind of goes, oh, thank bloody God.
You can feel it. You actually can physically feel it. On the 3rd of May, I was at a speaker's workshop and I was called to the front of the room to eat fire. Right before I was called to the front of the room, I manifested that. I said, this man is going to call me to the front. I'm going to be the one to eat the fire. But before he called me to the front, I had an epiphany that I was playing small for a really long time because of what I heard in school. I was always the one to answer the questions, always the one to raise my hand, the teacher's pet. I knew the answers to everything. And the kids I was in school with hated that. They would tell me to be quiet. So I played inside this tiny little package and not allowed myself to fully express myself. And that epiphany was I could pinpoint it back to that's where it happened. A lot of people don't do the work and don't try to find what it is that you need to heal. There's all sorts of ways that you can manifest the most unpleasant of an existence in this particular human experience.
Absolutely. Because if we don't heal, if we don't listen to the body in whatever it's giving us now, then something big is going to come back. It's all lessons. And you start to realize that the same thing is happening that's happened in the past, just in a different situation or with a different person. And you see it so much today in relationships. I call it a relationship supermarket. You're in a relationship and it's, oh, I love you so much. You make me feel so happy. You do this for me. You do that. And then you wake up one day and have an argument about something happens, whatever. I don't love you anymore. That's it. It's over. I'm going to go on and find someone else. And you find someone else who happens to have similar characteristics. And you do that enough and you go, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah.
Because you're manifesting these lessons. Probably to learn to love yourself. That happens in other things. That happens in all sorts of stuff. When we don't listen to either our bodies or the situations, then the universe will go, right, well, you didn't learn that one. I'm going to give you something bloody a lot bigger.
Right.
Until you get the blood message. And, you've got to just keep going. For someone who doesn't know what to do, the first step is just to make that decision and be open for the universe. We have someone in our community, and I'm so inspired by the journey that she's gone through. When she first started, she was so down on her and so negative. Now, she's saying how grateful she is for all the helpers that come into her life. She calls them helpers, and these could be people, these could be situations, opportunities that the universe is bringing to help her on her journey to overcome her rabbit holes, her dark nights, her shadows, right? Whatever you will call it, the dark night of the soul, all our shadows, it's there to shine light upon. And when we go, okay, I'm ready to do that, then the universe will go, okay, this is something you can do. It may not be nice. It may not be easy, but it's there to help you get stronger. It's there to help you grow, to empower yourself. It could be painful, whether it's physically painful or emotionally painful, because we've got to go through the pain to get to the other side. And that's what I've really learnt with the breath work. When I started breath work, the pain would stop me because it was intense pain and I just stopped. But the more I did it, the more I went through that. Now I truly am at this point in my life, not in that much pain, because I'm doing regular breath work. I'm breathing it out. It depends on the people, but I really believe in this thing, when you're ready, the teacher appears, whoever that may be, whatever that may be. We just have to be open and to see it. Might not be a person. It
I'm
might
a
be
firm believer in that too. And I've definitely the last few months, it's shown itself to me again, the power of my thoughts and healing my inner child, and then just being aware of what I want, having a really good focus to recognize that the teacher has presented itself no matter what type of experience. I think a lot of us do these cycles of we're on and we're high and we're like, we have this empowerment, and then we take a little dip. Do you experience that? And is the breath work, does that help pull you out of it?
The breath work does, but a constant daily practice. And I use, if I can share, the example of Tony Robbins. The reason why he's huge is because he does it every single bloody day. He gets into his state every single day. He does this thing because he knows that if he stops, he's just human like everyone else. It might take him a little bit longer, but he's going to fall flat. We go to seminars, and they're really enlightening and huge energy, but they're there as a signal, I can't think of the word right now.
I like
but
calling them a catalyst.
yes,
They're igniting that spark.
they're igniting that spark, Tony and everyone else, and all the other stuff, Joe Dispenza and any of these great teachers. They're there as a catalyst, as a teaching tool. But if you don't maintain it, if you don't put the work in when you go home, you're going to fall flatter than what you were when you started. Because that's the lesson. You have to keep on going. I do it. Even with exercise recently, because of whatever situation, I'm not getting out as much to get out to do my walk and I swim, right? And sometimes things happen and doesn't happen. Like right now, we're going through an East Coast low and pelting rain. And yes, I love my walking, but I'm not going to walk pelting rain. Instead, I do exercises here. And I notice that if I don't, within 2 days, I'm getting back in pain. My body is seizing up. We have to move our physical body and our mental body, our emotional body. We have to exercise. I love my mother very dearly. I really do. She gave birth. She has the same disorder as me, but she never had the bone hook. Right? We look very similar, but she never had the operation. Instead, she's got arthritis. She's got all sorts of other issues. She's now 80, but in her 60s, even earlier than that, my mother is a person which unfortunately her journey took her to believe in doctors. She only listened to doctors, which I found very hard because we've got the same disorder. And I'm starting, by that time, I'm starting to go down the alternative thing path, that no more drugs, that this is helping me, this is helping me, this is helping me. And I tried, I wanted to, not her, I wanted to help her, right? So I took her to alternative stuff to help her. But she didn't want that. Her only thing was to listen to the doctors. And about the age of 60-something, I would talk to her about this because she's in a lot of pain. And she said, I'm too old. It's too late. She is now, and has been for quite a while, in a wheelchair, very much overweight, fully dependent on someone else. The only way she can get out of bed is they have to use these hoists. They put the thing in and then hoist them out of the bed because she can't stand up. And no one can help her up. And it's the thoughts here. And I know that she also has so much resentment and regret and anger in her body. I feel it. I hear it. And it is unfortunate, even though I love her very dearly, but our relationship, she was the closest in my family, in our relationship, I was closest to her. She has the same belief. She believes in reincarnation, which really surprises me. I came to the decision that it's her right. It is her choice. If she chooses to only believe in a doctor, she takes 18 tablets for breakfast.
Oh,
She's on pills that overcome the effect of these pills, that overcome the effect of these pills. I don't know if anyone's listening. Because she's in so much chronic pain, they were giving her really strong codeine to help with the pain, right, which was making her toxic. One of the effects of codeine is it's constipation.
mm.
She went for 2 months for her woman. She became extremely toxic, so they had no choice but to put her in a hospital. Because she only followed what the doctor did, instead of taking her off the codeine, they gave her more stuff to overcome the effect of the codeine, called laxatives, and then they give her more stuff to overcome the effect of that. And I had to make a decision, no matter how hard it is, just to accept it's her journey into her life. I'm not going to do anything. I'm not going to have any more involvement. I do talk to her, but not very often. And whenever I talk to her, it's like, how are you? Oh, I'm in pain. And that hurts me when I know that there are options. But she has made that thing, I'm too old, it's too late. I'm too old, it's too late. So now the universe is going, okay, it's too late. And now she's totally independent. She has to have people help her to go to the bus, literally. All right. There is no way in my life that's going to happen to me. But I have to be really careful. My business partner, we were out one day and I noticed that because of the arthritis and the rain, I still get in pain. And I made this comment, I do not want to end up like my mother. And I made it pretty strong. And he goes, really? You don't want to end up like your mother, but yet you're saying that. You're putting it out to the universe. Got to be careful what you think and what you say and the emotion that goes with it. So instead, it's like, I am really healthy and vital and full of vitality.
Yeah, words are definitely important. I say things like that all the time. Even negatives, they still can give you what you don't want if you're not careful.
You've got to be so careful, aware of what's going on in your mind. And then if you wish to, you've got to go into the subconscious stuff, become aware of what's going on in our subconscious and bring that up to the consciousness so you can let that go. It's a rabbit hole, Lisa.
It definitely is a rabbit hole, and hence why we're here at Rabbit Hole Reflections, hopefully to help people not have to go through as deep of a rabbit hole, because we do like to give advice and share our stories so that we can help heal the world. And speaking of advice, what are 2 tips? We are coming up to the end of the show. What are 2 tips that you would want to share with listeners that they can use right now to help them in their healing process and on their spiritual path?
Words are really, really important. I read this book, Dying to Be Me by Anita Mujani, and I love her quote, her passion is remember you're magnificent. No matter what we're going through, no matter how dark the hole is, there's always light at the tunnel, but that light comes from within. That magnificent spark that's in us that gets covered up by all bloody crap that life brings us. But remember, you're magnificent.
I love that so much. That's beautiful. I'm going to print that out and put it on my wall so that I remember my magnificence. And
Yeah.
listeners, you're magnificent too. Where can listeners find you?
Social media, definitely. But the biggest one is our website, which is sacredyou.love. Come and find out everything that we have to offer so very much. And right now, if I can say, Lisa, I'm so excited, so very excited, because we've only just launched our village, which is our own online community. We go live in there every day. We have tribes, psychic development, and astrology. We've even got a tribe for business entrepreneurs. And we go live into the village for people to view and watch that. Plus, with all our other things, lots. We have a podcast, panel discussions, but people can come and join us for free. So it's sacredyou.love, and I should have put it on here, //join free. Come and join us. Come and join the village. Come and connect. The biggest thing, if I can say, Lisa, and this is the other tip, is we're not meant to be alone.
No,
Every
definitely not.
human being has a need for connection. Now, the biggest connection is physical, right? We need to get out. And, COVID did a huge thing about showing that the need for people to get out and connect with other beings. But if you can't, then the other connection is online. We offer many opportunities for women to connect with other like-minded women from all over the world.
My healing journey started with a book called Unity in Community. Finding that community on global platforms like Facebook groups is very important for finding that connection, finding people who are like you to help you through your journey, through your own rabbit hole, and hopefully get you out of it a lot faster. Sophia, it was so nice to have you here today. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you with the wonders of technology.
Yes.
It's been an honor.
Everyone, thank you so much. You've been listening to Rabbit Hole Reflections. I am your host, Lisa Van Slyke. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you for joining us on another journey down the rabbit hole. We all face our own descent. It's not the falling that defines us. It's how we rise and what we carry back. If this episode spoke to you, share it. And if you haven't already, follow the show so you don't miss what's next. You can connect with the Rabbit Hole Reflections community on Instagram and Facebook at Rabbit Hole Reflections, and catch full episodes on YouTube at Rabbit Hole Reflections Podcast. If you're ready to share your own voice with the world, check out my podcast workshop linked below. I'll walk you through launching your own show, even if you're not techie. And stay tuned, my book Quieted Flames and Silent Sparks is coming soon. It's the story behind the stories, and I can't wait to share it with you. Until next time, keep rising, keep reckoning, keep remembering who you are. I'm Lisa Van Slyke, and this has been Rabbit Hole Reflections.